This is the BodPod, the podcast where we welcome friends and experts to talk all things body image, self-love, and confidence. This is the BodPod.
Hey, BodPod squad. I'm Rachel K. Grimm, your resident hype girl and host of the BodPod, here to talk all things confidence, how we find it, keep it, and grow it. And today we are chatting with someone I've been so excited to introduce you to. You might already know her. You've probably seen her on your TV screen, and that is Estefani Mendez. Estefani is an LA-based influencer, but she's most recently known from her appearance on season 1 of the hit Peacock reality dating show, Love Undercover, where she not only stole the hearts of the men she was dating, but was a favorite amongst her castmates and her fans too. I know we're going to have an amazing conversation with her, so let's meet Steph. I loved your energy on screen, right? Then
thank you.
Love your energy even more online. And then I found out that we were both Pennsylvania girls.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait, this is why you give bestie energy.
Yes.
This is why you feel like a relatable girly. And I was like, everything makes sense now. As a fellow Pennsylvania girl, middle of nowhere Pennsylvania girl, turned city girl for many years now. That's a huge adjustment, a huge change to your life. And it takes a lot of guts to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear about how that happened for you.
Yes, of course. Well, I was born in Ventura, California.
Okay.
So I was born there, and then when I was 13, my mom remarried, and then I moved to Pennsylvania. And I love the East Coast. Like, the people are nicer, they're friendlier. The weather is so magical to me because you actually have seasons.
Yeah.
You have fall, winter, spring. It's just beautiful. It makes like the holidays even better. It makes Halloween like so much more Halloweeny.
Yes.
You know? And like, I just loved everything about the East Coast. And when I finished university, I studied fashion merchandising and business administration. And I was like, where am I going to go? New York or LA? Yeah. Well, I have family in California. So I moved to California and I was with my dad for 2 years up north near Fresno. And then I moved to LA by myself. But even then, I did the drive all the way from Pennsylvania to California by myself. I packed my car and I'm like, I'm going. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm going.
Yes. That is such energy of like, I'm going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. And it feels really terrifying, but I'm going to drive myself across the country.
Exactly.
And then moving to LA, moving to a city, a big city by yourself, also, I feel like is that other level of confidence to take chances.
Yeah. It's scary. It was scary at first, moving to LA, especially because I didn't know anybody here. I didn't have friends, and people are crazy here. There's a lot of cuckoo girls that like I was friends with, and the next thing you know, they flip the switch. But I've noticed that like my best friends, my girl groups, are not even from LA. I've noticed. I don't think there's one that's like born in LA. They're from somewhere else, and they've like moved to LA, and they've been here for a hot minute.
Yes,
but. Yeah, I love my girly pops. You know what? I support the crazies too. Do what you gotta do.
I was gonna say, to be clear, we're all a little bit crazy. So I don't judge. I don't judge. But to say it, the type of energy I want to surround myself with is a bit more like solid and knowing and
solid, more supportive. Like that's always been like the biggest thing that I want. Because I'm a ride or die type of girl. And I need that kind of friendship around me. I can't have girls that are wishy-washy.
Yes.
Because I'm just like, you know what? I can't do you.
Okay. But I have to ask, you had the confidence to move across the country, to then move to LA. Do you feel like all of this confidence to go and do is what gave you the push to go and put yourself out on a public forum like the show Love Undercover?
Oh, 1000%. Like literally the second that I touched my dad's house, like I had gotten some DM from The Bachelor and they were like, hey, do you want to apply? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, of course. I went through the process like 3 times. And from that, I found other producers. And then finally this show stuck. And like, I don't even know if that's the correct terminology. But finally, this show finally happened. But yeah, I had 10 times more confidence at my like dad's house. You know, I was like, I'm doing this. I'm ready. And then when the show finally came around, I was at like way more ready, way more prepared mentally, like everything.
Were there things during that time that you did that made you feel more mentally prepared to go in and like feel your best self?
Yes. So when I finally moved to LA, which was the second time that like I was going through the audition process and this was actually happening, I had my own place.
Yes.
I was, I had my girl group. Like I felt so confident. And I would tell them all, I'm like, yeah, I really want to do this. Like, this is something that I've always wanted to do. And they were so supportive, so freaking supportive. And again, at this time, there was a couple of girls that I had met through Bumble BFF that like, I didn't introduce them to my whole girl group, but I was hanging with them on the side.
Yeah.
And like, next thing you know, she came one day, her hair's dyed black. Another week, she's like, yeah, I applied to Love Island. I'm like, is this girl trying to take my life? I was like, I'm all for like supporting other women, but when it comes to the point of like, you're trying to copy and paste me, I get pissed. So I said goodbye. And then I focused on my main group and they gave me so much confidence and they knew everything that was going on with like these little rinky dink friends. And when everything was happening, like they couldn't be more proud. As to when they picked me up and they took me downtown LA to film, like they were all calling me. They were like, Steph, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I remember a year ago you were talking about this, like you're finally doing it. And I'm like, I know, I'm like crying in the car and I'm like, I can't believe what's happening.
I feel like truly the people around you can make or break it. Like you said, whether like it's sucking life from you, whether that's by trying to be you, trying to have your life. Sometimes I think about that and I'm like, this is the eternal optimist in me. I'm like, what a compliment, right? To admire how I'm living my life so much that you tried to emulate it. You know, like, what is the saying? The greatest copying is the greatest form of flattery or whatever. But also there comes a point where that's not okay because we all are our own person and our relationships are not about that competition. And that's what it can feel like when someone's just trying to be you as opposed to support you like you saw from your other friends. Isn't that the thing about girlhood? Really, it should be we're not each other's competition, we're each other's community. Like there's enough hardship out here being a woman in general that we don't need to compete with each other, but to instead cheer each other on. And I love that you had that group of girls around you that were like, yeah, no, I support you in leaving this energy behind and instead walking into this new era of your life that you've been manifesting for so long.
Yes. I love them to death. Love them. They've supported me since day one. I've been talking about going on a show for years. And it finally happened. They're like, damn, Steph, you did it. Good job.
Let me ask you, you said a few times now, this was going to happen. Like, I knew I was going to do this. For you, was it always dating? You had to put yourself out there like at another level, girl.
I think it was always that for me. Listen, everybody has, their comments about reality dating. They're like, oh, it's fake. Nothing actually happens from it. But you'd be surprised. There's a couple of them that actually work. There's some relationships that come out of The Bachelor, mostly Bachelor in Paradise, and they have babies now. Same with Love Island. And even if it doesn't work, it's basically like just dating, but everybody sees it. But there's a positive to that. Like you get recognition from it, like work. That's the positive that I saw out of it. Like I'll go in, hopefully I find a boyfriend or so on and so forth and see what happens after that. And like to me, like a lot of people have said, I can't do that because you're dating a man that's dating multiple women. Well, that's kind of what's happening in real life. You just don't know about it.
How does like a situation like that, you're plopped in there with all of these other women dating all of these different men. And as you said, inherently as humans, no matter how hard we try, you're going to compare yourself. How did you find the confidence to be like, no, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to be 100% me. I'm going to show up in a bikini. Like some women, a lot of us out here don't even feel the confidence to wear a bathing suit like on the beach with our
Yeah.
family or with our partner. How did you find that within yourself?
Ooh, I talk to myself like crazy, like in my head and like out verbally. Like I will go, like, can I go to the restroom? I need to go to the mirror. I need to go to the mirror. And I literally talk to myself. I'm like, you got here. You got here. You competed against how many women to get your butt here onto this show, which I've talked to the producers and they're like, Steph, we did have to send a couple girls home. They were just alternates. Like, and I felt bad. They were like, and there was also alternates like waiting at home for us to give them the okay or not, just in case if one of us didn't fall through. Like, I literally was like, you are not an alternate. Like, you were meant to be here. Not only that, but this show we're supposed to film like 3 years ago. I got casted, and 2 weeks before we're about to film, they're like, no, we're dropping it because NBC, Universal were merging together. And then a year after, they're like, hey, we're bringing it back. Do you want to do it? I was like, yes. And I was like, after 2 years, bitch, like you got here. And luckily, the group of girls that were in this house, like regardless if we're friends after the show or not, like while we were filming, we were all very respectable towards one another. And like one girl had a beautiful badonki, and then we were joking like, we gotta do some squats, we gotta do some squats. And then of course we were supporting each other like, no girl, you're beautiful, you're good. Like I'm so lucky I was in a good environment, because you see how those reality shows go. It could go either or. But luckily it was a good environment. But the biggest thing for myself is like I amp myself up, and I cannot stress this enough. I put blinders. I stay in my own lane. I make everything about me. This is my show. Like, in my head, obviously I'm not verbally saying it. You made it, like go give it your all. And I sure as hell did.
Yes, girl, you did. That is such a good piece of advice for women everywhere, not even just being on a show, but in general, reminding yourself, I put in the work to be here. I deserve to be in this moment that I'm in, and I'm not going to waste it by comparing myself to everyone else in the room. And instead, I'm going to remind myself, I can be here. I'm deserving of it. And I love what you said about treating it like it's your show, or
it's my show,
your moment, because the whole concept of like a main character energy, I know that some people can find that to be toxic, but personally, I think that is such an excellent mentality to be in, because when we're living for ourselves, we're actually making decisions that give us opportunity, as opposed to living a way that we just feel everyone else wants us to live, or we're told to live.
Exactly. And I even have that mentality too, like when it comes to going out to film content. Now, of course, here in LA, it's different. Everyone's out here like filming, so it's not awkward. But it's like, girl, you were on a show. Like thousands of people saw you. Get your ass out there, get your tripod, and go take your pictures. Like, even if it's like with style too, especially in New York, because style is like everything. You can like dabble in anything and no one's going to judge. And even if they do, it's like, you're a bad bitch. Like you bought the clothes, go work it. You're living in New York. You're living in LA. Hell, you're living wherever you're living. Like go strut.
It's one thing to be influencer girly out on the street, taking your pics and being like, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. It's another being on a show where you're seen by thousands of people and there's a public opinion of you. And this public opinion is based on a very like small percentage of you as a human, just minutes of what we see. So I want to know, how does the public opinion or the public conversation of you or things you said or things you did, how has that impacted how you see yourself?
Of course. So I guess for me, I won't lie, like at first I was really worried, especially when in particular episode 5 came out, which was like the pool scene.
We'll get there. So for anyone listening, we'll get there.
we'll get there. But surprisingly, luckily for me, like the audience took it very well. They were very supportive of me. Because in general, the way I like to see it, and I told some of the girls, it's like, I was myself, like the whole entire time. Like the entire time I was myself. Like, it's not like they could take a footage out of context, because the entire time, like I was really like caring, whatever. And yes, there was a couple people that were, you know, saying like, oh, she did it just to get him, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's what I did. Maybe it's just a Scorpio in me. but I did like a little story time and like I went on podcast, I said my piece.
Yeah.
After that, like I ain't saying shit. Like I said what I said, so I don't care. That's how I see it. Like I'm proud of myself.
And you said, I was 100% myself.
Yes.
I didn't pretend to be anyone else.
No.
I was me, so it can't be taken out of context. And to me, that would be the biggest like pat on the back or like feeling proud of myself. Well, I'm me. So if you don't like me, then you really don't like me. You can't not like me for anything that like was made up or an edit that was made of me. You know?
Exactly. You know, and like there's so much footage of me. Like they did not make anything up. Like I was myself.
Literally.
So I'm proud.
I want to talk about the episode 5 now. So the scene when you're in the pool, you guys get handsy, right? Like you take this in, literally you take things into your own hands.
Sure do.
You put yourself out there, like you make the first move. Yeah. And in the moment, who wouldn't love this lucky man? But then later, this is almost used against you and made you feel like you messed up or you weren't good enough or ultimately it led to your, can I say like demise on the show?
Yeah, it did.
Right?
Yeah.
So how has that impacted you in making moves now when sure when you're dating, but in life in general, has that made you feel more empowered to be like, no, I'm going to go after what I want. And if you don't like it, fine. Or does it make you feel more like, okay, well, maybe I'll let other people take that first step?
Yeah. So with that whole situation, it was just a hot mess express. I did not know what actually happened. Okay. I didn't know what happened. If you see in the breakup, all he had said to me, I don't like what happened in the pool. And at that time, I literally thought I sexually harassed him. Like that was like my biggest thing. And like, nobody knew, but I was like, how is that possible? Because a couple days prior, we were also in the pool and we were doing the exact same thing. In fact, he himself was all up in me. So I was very confused and I was like, but this wasn't the first time. Like we've been intimate. And I'm just like, what is going on? So I end up going and leaving. And I had no idea that that other girl, Jackie J, had told the whole house and had told him about me. And what had really pissed me off is that in front of the cameras, like we would have cameramen in front of me and she would be like, Steph, go get your man. Like clapping me to go get him, go get Sebastian because she no longer wanted him. Yeah. So never an ounce in my head did I think that like, okay, she went and did that. Yeah. And what sucked is that this show didn't air until a year later. So the whole year I'm thinking I like sexually harassed. So I won't lie. Like it kind of messed me up. Yeah. I won't lie. It did. It did. Yeah. And I did have to talk to therapists about it because no one would tell me the truth because they're trying to keep the episode so concealed. Right. So that nobody knows what actually happened. But I was just so confused. And even other people knew that it was spread around the house, but no one told me. No one freaking told me. Now, I will say when the episodes came out and I found out the truth and like saw what actually went down, like one, it didn't change who I really was. Like I've always been someone who's very intimate. Yes. For me, like intimacy is so important. Like physical touch is definitely like one of like my love languages. It just always has been. Yeah. And it's not like Sebastian stalked me. And it's not like I went straight to it. No, BBs. So did it mess me up at the beginning? Yes. But it definitely didn't deteriorate my confidence because at the end of the day, this is who I've been since day one. Okay. And it's not like I see a man and I'm like, all right, we're going to go home. Right. Which by the way, do what you got to do, boo. I definitely take my time with men now, especially after the show. Yeah. Just in case if they've seen it and like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm someone who is very intimate. I love sex. It's just my thing. I just really, really enjoy it. And I love just like taking my time with it. So like, I'm not going to change for anybody. Like that's me. That's my confidence. Thank you. So you could tell as a viewer that you were like, I
don't care if the cameras are here. I don't care if other people are going to see this. This is who I am. This is something that is important to me. And so if I'm going to call this person my partner, I want them to know who I am and that is an important.
It is.
Me. And I love for you that ultimately you were supported by people watching, right? And that you weren't shamed for that. In fact, I think that a lot of people were, from the viewer standpoint, mad that was something that did lead to you leaving the show, because you were, once again, as we said, totally like you were authentic and genuine across the board.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that like, I'm the only one that got caught. People were literally doing way more than my little handy. I just got caught because that girl went and told, and they went back and caught it. There wasn't even cameramen that day. There was just like the cameras like on the walls.
Yeah.
And they caught it. But I'm glad they caught his face, because he was like,
yeah, exactly. I hate for you that originally it made you feel a type of way, that it made you feel, you know, that insecurity around what you did and made you second guess. But I love that in the end, it came out that, as you said, like, showed his face, like clearly this was like two people clearly interested in each other. And I feel like through that moment, you gave so many other women the power to just like be more sexually confident. So props to you, girl.
Thank you.
From that, you were questioning yourself for a period of time, right? You mentioned going to therapy, but I want to know other ways that you are able to take back your power when you're in a situation that makes you feel like you're not good enough, or that you messed up.
Yes. So beside therapy, this is where like the good girl group comes into play. And like you tell them everything that happened. And it's, I love my girls. I love my girls because some of them are also Latina. They're like, Steph, snap out of it. Like, look at you. You think you didn't want it? Okay, calm down. Like, thank you. And they really like there's nothing more supportive than like having like your besties around you. Than having a good girl group that supports you. And not only that, but not them just like, coming over, but like getting me out of the house right after I got home after the show. Like, Steph, come over. Let's go swimming. Let's go to the beach. Like, let's do this. And they like really helped me out, because of course, again, I really did like the guy, regardless of what happened in the pool or not. Because remember at that time, I didn't know they were going to air that, but like they really helped me out. They really did. And their words really did help me, because at the same time, like, look at yourself. You're a bad bitch. I'm not even saying this for myself, but like in general, if anyone's having like these kind of issues, like, you're a bad bitch. Okay. Like, if you think this is the only man that's ever going to come in your life, like, no, baby. I'm happy that they aired it. I'm happy that it all came out, because I did see everything in full. And looking back on it, it was never going to be me. So I'm glad he did send me home, because I feel like we could have done more if it wasn't caught. And he would have just like disposed of me, because at the end of the day, like, I wasn't blonde. Like, his big thing throughout the whole show was he loves blonde women, which support my blonde girlies. Okay? Support. Yes.
You're with this man where the whole premise of the show is that he lies to you about a big part of who he is as a human. Like, you don't even know until the end of the show who he is. And that he's someone that is a public facing person, right? So how has this impacted, one, your trust of the people you're dating, but also then the trust that you have in yourself when you're putting yourself out there?
So when it comes to like them lying about their jobs, it was never like the biggest thing for me, because I know during auditions, they were like, do you want someone rich, wealthy, whatever? And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Sure. And then when we got on the show, they're like, oh, they're construction workers, like business people. And again, I thought it was like, yeah, fine. I thought it was like a test for us girls to see if like we're gold diggers or whatever. And I was like, okay. So then when they told us their actual job, I was like, I don't care. So for me, it didn't affect me too much, because I didn't really care about their positions or like what they did. But I guess relating it to like real life relationships, I won't lie, after going on this show and them saying about their careers and stuff, like I won't lie, I definitely dig in a little bit deeper on the boys that like
Yeah.
I date here and there, like what their actual job is. Because have you ever seen like those videos where guys are like, oh yeah, I travel for work, and they're just doing like DoorDash or Uber?
Yes. Yes.
Which, no hate. Like, if you
No.
want to sound cool, like by all means, at the end of the day, like men are human too. Like let them be cool here and there.
Yeah.
But I do dig in a little bit. I don't know if it's like PTSD, but I'm like, it has to be real.
Right. As women, especially women who are being open and honest and putting ourselves out there,
Mhm.
being genuine, like that's all you can ask for in return is
Yes.
someone who's also giving you their true selves.
100%. Yeah.
And so I love that you are digging in deeper. And I feel like that's really powerful for other women to hear
Mhm.
that, like, it's okay to ask more questions. Like, you're not
Yes.
being too much. You're
No.
asking for the bare minimum to have an
Literally the
understanding.
bare minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, there's nothing wrong with asking more questions. There's nothing wrong asking with them like early on too, because at the same time, you don't want to waste your time. I'm not saying like date one, you're like, all right, do you want kids, this and this and that? But like at the
Right.
same time, don't just be like, oh, what do you like to do? You like to go hiking? I'm not saying like it's an interview, but at the same
Right.
time, just like pry a little, like
Yes.
pry a little. Like, what do you want to do with that? That sounds so cool.
Don't we all want to be with someone who's like motivated and is a goal getter, is like going after something better in their life? And like you said, you can do
Yes.
whatever. Who cares about what your actual job is? But like, just knowing that this person you're seeing is someone who's like motivated and wants to grow in their
Yes.
life. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with wanting to ask questions like that.
And that's hot when a man is like
Yes.
motivated and has ambition. Ooh.
Yes. You said that you've been dating like here and there.
Mhm.
What or where would you say you're going to find like the type of men you want to date? Like,
Girl, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Especially in LA. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's LA is difficult when it comes to dating. It's like every section in LA is different when it comes to type of man. Like you go to Los Feliz and like that's like the hippy dippy man. You go to
Yeah.
Santa Monica, Venice, that's like the finance bros.
Yeah.
You come here to West Hollywood, it's a little bit more of like the artist, like influencer man. There's no spice. Pero yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure it out for sure.
Well, let me ask you this then, because I feel like our entire conversation comes back to the girls and having the girls that are supporting you, that are in your circle, that make you feel like you are the queen that you are. What is the quote by no, it's not Carrie that says it. It's Charlotte that says it. Maybe the girls are the actual love of our life and the men are just things we have fun with.
Yes.
So the real loves of your life, like the women's, the girl group in your life.
Yes.
Where are you going? And I know you said you've tried like Bumble BFF, but
Yeah.
for the girls who maybe like just moved to LA or just moved to New York, or they've just, need new friends in general.
Yes.
Where are you going to like find that love in your life?
Oh, this is easy. For the girls, like easy. Listen, go to all the coffee and matcha places. Like there's Cha Cha Matcha right up here.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I'm meeting people? Like all the time.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, I love your skirt. I love your this. And then you just get talking so easily, so freaking easily. I feel like it's easier to meet women than it is men. Just go out, put yourself out there. And the biggest thing is like taking yourself on these little dates. I go by myself to the Grove all the time. I walk my happy little ass to Cha Cha Matcha. I work on my little computer. You have to like take yourself on a date, and I promise you'll meet people. I swear it happens to me every single time. Every single time. Just be open to it because I'm a chatterbox.
Same. My best friend says I'm a chatterer. I mean, hello, like this is literally my career. Like I just love to chat. Like I can chat with anyone. But I want to really comment on what you said because, obviously we're talking about how the experience you've had has empowered you moving forward in relationships and how you put yourself out there in what's next in dating. But I think that is so applicable to every relationship in life, not being afraid to put yourself out there. Like we all love a compliment. Like when a girl compliments your outfit, that feeling you get, go ahead and give that to someone else. What a great one-liner to like get a conversation started with another woman. And it's not always going to hit, but I think more often it will.
Yes, it definitely, it more often will. I promise you, like it will. Yeah. And for me, like I just so easily like giving compliments. I'm always thinking of the other person like, whenever I meet people. I'm just like, what if she had a bad day? Just compliment her. And I promise you the conversation is going to start like this.
Yes. And I think the not being afraid to like follow up on that, right? It's not weird to be like, oh, well, actually, can I get your Instagram? Oh, maybe we can do coffee here together next time. Or I know for me, you said earlier about how in LA, you're going out and you see everyone else taking their photos with their tripod, whatever. In New York, it's the same way. So many of us creator girls are out there together doing the same job, right?
Exactly.
And it's such an easy way to start up a conversation and be like, oh, well, let me grab this photo for you. Or, you know, complimenting the outfit. Like it's not weird at all.
It's not. It really isn't. And it's easier once you like start. And once you start, it's like, oh, I got this. I got this.
You know, even you and I obviously started talking on Instagram. I always go back to one of my best friends in the city. She is a fellow female-owned business entrepreneur queen. And she had reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm hosting this event for other women in this space. Would love for you to come. This was like 2018. I went to her event and now she's one of my very best friends. It's like any other relationship in life, but it's so worth it for the girls. I want to know what's next for you. What is upcoming? What can we be on the lookout for?
So I'm still single, haven't met anybody. And I was just talking to a couple of the casting producers.
Let's see you on that screen, girl. Oh my God.
I'm like, I'm single. I'm not seeing anybody. I'm not committed to anybody. So I was like, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
So right now that's like on my mind, but at the same time, I'm like enjoying life. New people that I've met, like you, like, you're a great person. And I hope we can continue this friendship. And like,
hell yeah.
I just want to like have some time with my friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just am loving life right now. Everything's going so well. Like I finally accomplished my dream of like, I wouldn't say a dream, but I finally accomplished my task of like going on a show. And if another one comes along, I'll be grateful. I'll be happy. But I just love life. I'm loving life right now. So that's my next step.
I love that for you. I love that the girlfriends, the girlhood remains a constant for you. Yeah. This was honestly so amazing stuff. Like having this convo with you, hearing about your experience, the energy that you gave to all the girls listening is everything. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast.
Of course. Last thing, let us know where we can find you on Instagram, TikTok, all the platforms so we can keep up with whatever it is you do next.
So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. It's the same handle. It's stef.p.mendez.
Perfect.
So steph.p.mendez.
Perfect. Yay. Everyone has to watch out for wherever we see you next, girl. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.